I want to share a portion of the chapter on test-taking myths. I think it's important to dispel misinformation that causes students unnecessary stress. This book has been completely revised with additional chapters to accelerate improvement in test-taking skills. Test-taking myths. In this chapter, we'll examine a dozen test-taking myths that seem to never die. Myth #1: Smart people are good test takers. This may be partly true, but tests measure more than innate intelligence. They measure your ability to take tests and decipher and discern the stem of the question, what the instructor is asking. Many brilliant people perform poorly on tests. The rest of this chapter is dedicated to dispelling the myths and giving you strategies that will help you become a better test taker. This process can be learned by anyone. Myth #2: Tests measure how much you know. Tests measure how much you can recall or figure out at a given time. They do not reflect your entire knowledge base or ability to reason. Many students, discouraged that they've performed poorly on a single test, extrapolate that poor performance into a much larger definition of themselves, such as "I'm just bad at math, I'm not good at chemistry, I don't get this history stuff." If you are prone to self-labeling, you need to overcome this mental hurdle. Understand that a subpar exam performance isn't necessarily a true measure of what you know or of your ability to succeed as a student. It is a measure at one point in a long line. Myth #3: Time is key. The prevalence of this myth is probably the biggest hurdle that gets in the way of good exam performance for the students I've worked with in the last decade. Many labor under the false belief that brute force is the only way to prepare successfully for a test or exam. In fact, it's not so much the time you put in as it is how you allocate that time. Studying efficiently and effectively is different from just studying. We delve deeper into that fact in another chapter. Still here, we know that, in terms of your chance of success, putting in an excessive or inordinate amount of time pales compared to efficient and active studying. Efficient is getting things done quickly with the least effort. Effective is doing the right things. Know the difference when planning your test preparation strategy. Active vs passive. Simply staring at an equation or rereading a chunk of facts pales in comparison to active recall techniques. Spaced repetition combined with active recall techniques are proven methods. Try covering up a portion of your notes or an equation and try to fill in the gaps. This is a better test of retention and understanding. Myth #4: Cramming is effective. This myth is a constant. I'm going to cram for this test. I'm just going to stay up all night cramming and then take the test at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sure I'll do fine. For a few people, this might work. The probability is that, for you, it won't. Cramming can be an effective way to store information for a very short period. The problem lies in that this method doesn't lay down any neural foundations that constitute long-term sustainable memory.